Hey gorgeous, welcome back and welcome to another video. I just want to preface this one by saying if it seems a little odd or different, it's because I filmed this video for a writing channel that I was going to put out, but I decided to just keep everything here on my main channel, Ginger Zephyr. But first, before we get to the video, I'm excited to say that today's video is sponsored by me and my Substack. As you know, I've been posting to Substack for a little while, and I just thought I would read out the about section so that you understood a little more what I post about on there. Ginger spent 10 years in the adult industry. Countless customers asked her not to write about them. Countless managers asked her to stay quiet. Countless bystanders asked her not to tell her story. Here, she writes about it. Here she writes about the things we can't say out loud, from working as a stripper for 10 years, to being involved with men who hid their true selves, to navigating the world as a drunk, traumatized teenager who hated casual sex but did it anyway. Here she says what nobody wants to hear, that it is okay to live a life outside of the norm, that it is okay to have sex for money and get naked for $5, that it is okay to speak out against people who have wronged you. These conversations usually happen in dressing rooms, in private messages, or in front of car dashboards in the middle of the night. Here, Ginger writes about them. So if you would like to read things that I probably shouldn't write about, subscribe to my Substack. I will link it below. It is called Please Don't Write About This. But otherwise, enjoy the video. Hi, I'm Ginger. I'm 30 years old and I live in Brisbane. I spent 10 years in the adult industry, but I've recently quit to follow my passion for writing. And what business do I have talking about writing in the first place? Well, I have a degree in creative writing. I completed the Writing a Novel course at Faber Academy, and over the years I've attended countless workshops and masterclasses focusing on writing. I've also worked on and off for the past 11 years as a freelance writer and editor. So I know a thing or two. I specialise mostly in memoir, a few articles here and there, and bits and pieces of literary fiction. If you're curious about my writing and want to have a look before you trust any of my advice, you can go to my Substack. I will link it below. Also, apologies if you can hear the rain. I've closed all the windows, but if you can hear it, I hope that it sounds nice and cozy for you. But let's talk about why I think now is the best time to become a writer. And I know you've heard all sorts of things. No one reads anymore. It's all AI. The market is oversaturated. There's no money in writing. I'm sure you've heard plenty of negative feedback from either the people around you or complete strangers. Plenty of people told me that I was stupid for quitting the club to focus on being a writer. But as someone who has observed the writing industry over the past 11 years, I completely disagree. And here's why. For context, let's talk about my own writing journey. I always knew I wanted to do something with writing. When I was a child, I was always writing little stories. I had a poem published when I think I was maybe 7. I say published very loosely, but I was so proud of myself at that age. When I was in high school, I wrote 2 books, never published them, and I don't even want to read them now because I know I'm gonna hate them. But I always had a passion for writing. Coming from a creative family as well, it was a no-brainer for me to study creative writing at university. So that's what I did. I did a Bachelor of Fine Arts in creative and professional writing. My grades were either average or very good, because writing is very subjective, as I'm sure you know. Some of my teachers loved my writing, some of them didn't like it at all, but the ones who liked my writing I would get absolute top marks for. So my grades were very up and down, but I did end up getting invited into an accelerated writing program. This was where 12 people from my cohort were chosen to form a group called Advanced Writing Practice. And Advanced Writing Practice was each of us worked on a longer piece of creative writing. For the majority of us, it was a manuscript. We were given dedicated workshops, very close attention, and we were constantly swapping and editing each other's work so that we were able to get really constructive, effective feedback. I wrote a novella during this time, and I did try to get it published. Of course, getting a novella published as an emerging writer is quite challenging. So I put it to the side and I did random bits of writing here and there. In 2015, I was longlisted for an award, and this happened not long after I had started in the adult industry. And I said to myself when I joined the adult industry that I would just do it for a little while until my writing took off. I still kept writing. I was writing a lot of memoir, the odd short story here and there, but I was writing a lot of personal pieces, and I would get random pieces published here and there. I personally found the process of submitting my work quite frustrating, especially having to wait for what I considered a long period of time to hear back about your work and put that piece on hold for that amount of time. I also didn't like the idea of someone else deciding whether my writing was good or not, especially after my experience at university where some people would love my writing and some people didn't. So I would go through a lot of periods where I would be really active, I would send things out, and then I would become frustrated with the whole process and then stop altogether. Focus on making money because I was a hustler, and then I would stop and focus on writing again. And I went through this cycle for a few years, up until 2020. In this time I had also written another novella, which was also longlisted for an award, but I did not get it published. And I will be self-publishing this novella. And this will be the first time I do anything with self-publishing. So best believe a video will be coming because I'm not going to have any idea what I'm doing. So I will document the whole journey and we can go through it together. But in 2020, I was fed up. I was tired. I wanted to have more control over publishing my writing, but I didn't know how or what. And at this point in time, I looked into opening up my own publishing house. And this was going to be a publishing house purely for sex workers. Of course, we have COVID, and I put everything on hold. Even though I was working on an actual novel this time and I was doing bits and pieces of writing here and there, I wasn't really doing anything writing wise. I was working as a freelance editor, but I wasn't doing anything writing wise, even though I still had that niggling feeling inside of me telling me to write. You've got to get back to writing, you've got to do it. And eventually at the end of last year, that is what I did. And that was purely because I saw the writing landscape the way it is today. And I thought to myself, that is actually how I wanted it to be 10 years ago. We have so many more opportunities now, even though it's really sad to see a lot of publishing houses close down, because I did go through the process of sending off all my pieces, contacting journals, etc. And most of the literary journals that I used to submit to are no longer functioning. It's a shame to see that they're not there anymore. But as a writer, I find this new era of writing very exciting for me. And that's because I find the writing industry so much more independent these days. After I had a little look at all the journals that I used to submit to, I decided to, my strength has always been the written word. I'm getting better at speaking. I decided to focus on Substack. And Substack was something that I had been posting on here and there, and I found that the more time I started dedicating to Substack, the more positive feedback I was getting, and the more I was able to get my writing out there. And not only that, but I was actually getting paid for my writing. And if you don't know what Substack is, the easiest way that I find to describe it is by calling it a blog that you can monetize. And you don't have to monetize it either. You can have it for free, you can have it paid, you can have a mix of free and paid content. But essentially, it's a place where people pay to read your writing. And I honestly think that's amazing. I'm so grateful for Substack. I feel as though I'm actually getting compensated for my writing. I don't have to wait for someone to read over it. I don't have to wait to see if someone thinks this is good enough to put out into the universe. I can post something, I can get paid for it, and I put my writing out there. So I think Substack is great. And I know some people say that there are AI pages on Substack, but I feel as though, okay, let's talk about AI. For the most part, I feel as though people are smart enough to understand what is AI and what isn't, especially when it comes to writing. Because one thing that AI can't do is feel. And feeling adds dimension to your writing. They don't understand empathy, they don't know how to express it. And a lot of AI writing is very cookie cutter. It's not really going to add stylistic flair. It's not going to give you something outside of the norm. And the people who are likely to read AI slop anyway are people who aren't going to be engaged or serious readers. AI can't be human either. People want to get to know their writers. They want to feel as though it's coming from a person. It's not just a bunch of perfectly formulated words on a page. There are some genres where it doesn't really matter if AI is utilized or not, especially when it comes to very formulaic genres such as romance. A lot of the time people read that because they know that there's a formula, they know what's going to happen, and they just want the story to follow in a simple way. But if you are a serious writer, and if you're interested in literary fiction, memoir, things that are going to leave long-lasting impacts on people. You can't get that with AI. So I feel as though the AI argument, it seems to come from people who aren't very well read and or people who aren't really in tune so much with the writing industry. Substack isn't the only thing that allows writers to be more independent these days. There are so many more options for self-publishing, longer pieces of work, more than there ever used to be. And while, yes, that technically saturates the market, think of that as an amazing problem to have. If the market is saturated, then there are so many opportunities out there. That means that there is space for you. Just think of it as an opportunity for you to learn more about marketing and learn more about promoting yourself and your writing. Yes, you might have a lot more to compete with these days, but there's only one you. You're the only one that has written your book. And I'm sure people want to read it. And marketing itself is so much easier. 20 years ago, you couldn't advertise yourself using TikTok. You couldn't have things go viral. You couldn't advertise yourself as freely as you can now on social media. There are so many more opportunities to advertise yourself for free. It's free to set up an Instagram account. It's free to set up a TikTok account. You don't have to pay a marketing company to promote your book for you. You can just use this. And yes, I know phones aren't free, but I'm sure you have one anyway. That makes it easier if you are self-publishing. And also, if you are hoping to go down the route of traditional publishing, you now have more opportunities to build a following and to have something to show publishers when you submit a manuscript and say, hey, I have this many people who are probably going to be interested in purchasing my book. In the past, you would have had to either build a portfolio or already be a notable person. Now with the power of social media, you can make that happen. And yes, that does mean that there's more opportunities and there's more people to compete with, but there's only one you. Like I said before, this is an opportunity for you to learn more and challenge yourself so that you can achieve what you want. And in regards to social media, that in itself allows for so many more resources to help you grow as a writer and help you become better at your craft. And when you earn money independently, you get to keep more of it. There's also better technology now. I can write on the go, and that's what I do. When I'm walking to the gym, when I'm waiting in line, I just open Google Docs and I can write. There are so many more opportunities now for you to be productive as a writer. You can send yourself voice messages. You can set alarms. There are so many resources that you can utilize to make your writing more productive and your writing time more effective. Don't listen to what anyone says. Now is a great time to become a writer. The writing space might not look how it used to. Things might be different. It might look like it's falling apart. If you want to become a writer, start now. Don't let people tell you can't do it. If you really want to, you can find a way. And if you are a writer and you're losing hope, keep going. We got this. There are people out there who really want to hear what you have to say. You just keep going. Success could literally be just around the corner. Don't give up now. Don't tell yourself that this is a bad time to be a writer. This is an amazing time to be a writer. Keep going. Keep pushing forward. I believe in you and I want you to believe in yourself too. I guess I would love a like, comment, subscribe. But if not, thanks for watching anyway. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Keep writing.